It all started out as just a normal Thursday night.
I have never had one serious bowler, tell me that they didn't think that was the greatest league series ever bowled.
I didn't imagine for a moment that he was going to bowl a 900. I mean, it had never been done before.
If you say Glenn Allison, you say 900 in bowling. Glenn Allison's 900 is a story unlike any other in the history of bowling. It's the only one that's been in Sports Illustrated this way. I think the American Bowling Congress blew it.
There have been a lot of scores turned down. Mine was the first and only 900 ever turned down. My name is Glenn Richard Allison, better known as Mr. 900.
E-R-W-L-I-N-G. We go bowling, bowling, bowling. My baby and me.
The main idea is to knock down all 10 pins with one roll of your ball. Do that and you've got a strike. Oh, too bad. We know, not warmed up yet.
I was 10 when I bowled my first game. My mother and dad took me bowling at a little bowling center, 8-lane center in Whittier, California. From the time I threw the first ball, I was in love with bowling. So I did it as much as I possibly could. I put bottles away. I did janitorial work. Anything where they'd say, go ahead and bowl a couple games. I was fortunate enough to be seen by some bowlers in Chicago that decided that they needed another player on their team, and that was 1956. That was really the start of my professional career. July 1st, 1982. I was 52 years of age at the time. A normal day, I was working in the liquor store. I left the liquor store at 5 o'clock. Came down to the bowling center, La Habra 300 bowl. I bowled the early league with my brother, my nephew, and then I moved to another pair of lanes, this pair right here, 13 and 14, and proceeded to start striking when I got over here. After about 7 or 8 frames, I felt like I might bowl a 300 game.
After the first 300, everybody kind of came up and congratulated Glenn, and there were applause. And then he started out the second game stringing strikes in a row again, and everyone was wondering, could he do it again?
There are certain points of etiquette you should observe. After you've bowled, quickly get back out of the way and be sure you stay on your own approach path.
After the first game, I strolled into the lounge and got myself a little shot of Crown Royal and said, I'll sip on this for a while. And I sipped on it all the way through the second game while I proceeded to throw 12 more strikes.
Every time he'd get up to bowl, everyone would stop bowling and get as close as they could to watch him throw the next ball. People that were in the league that night were calling friends to come down to maybe witness a historical event.
I was very quiet. The only one person that I talked to during that whole time was my brother. And then I went back down and just sat, waited for my next turn.
He was pretty rhythmic. I mean, he sat in the same seat. He would go up occasionally to talk to his brother.
After that second game, I decided I should go to the lounge and get another Crown Royal, and I sipped on that one all the way through the third game. I kind of think that the sipping on that might have just kept my nerves under control.
The whole bowling alley was bustling, and then he'd get up on the approach and you could hear a pin drop. It was a magical moment that just kept building and building.
I never in my life dreamed of bowling a 900. My dreams were on 887. The existing record at the time was 886. So when I got up to bowl in the 10th frame of the third game, I needed that first strike to break that record. If there was any pressure on me that night, that was the pressure. The last 2 strikes I got for the 900 to finish off the 900 were almost like an afterthought. I had already done what I had dreamed to do. the 900 would just happen after that. There was a gentleman from the local bowling association came down and checked the lanes.
And it was a little handheld device that was spring-loaded. It had a pad on it. They would cock it, put it on a board, press the button, and this pad would slide out. And they were looking for a consistency in the way that the pad slid out.
And they decided that the lanes did not meet the requirements and were not sanctionable for the 900 series, so they turned it down.
It was such a subjective test.
They stated that there was too much oil in the center of the lane. However, to check a lane after they've been bowled on by 2 leagues is almost an impossibility. But that's what they claimed.
Every time a ball goes down the lane, it picks up some of that oil and changes that surface.
As far as I was concerned, it was a normal bowling shot. The average bowler that night was under average. I disagree, I always have. I proceeded to go home, go to bed, and get up in about 4 hours and go to work. I opened the liquor store at 6 a.m. The gentleman came in the door, and I was looking at a copy of the American Bowling Congress yearbook that I kept at the store. He said, "Did you hear what that guy did at La Habra 300 last night?" And all I said was, "I was there. Never saw the man before, never saw him again. I don't know whether he ever knew that it was me."
To get the most possible enjoyment out of your bowling, by all means join a team and bowl in a league.
Everybody that's a serious bowler knows who Glenn Allison is. He's at the upper echelon of, one of the all-time greats.
I couldn't imagine not bowling. I still bowl. I bowl in 2 leagues a week at my age, 85. Didn't turn out to be financially successful. My investments were not what they should have been, so I'm still working. I work right here at La Habra 300 5 days a week. I've been here for almost 20 years, and I love it. I love the people, and I have a great time.
It just is a shame for bowling history that Glenn's name wasn't the one that went in there. The way the game has changed, the sport has changed, his achievement is so much more difficult than any 900 that's been shot since then.
There was not another 900 series for 15 years after I bowled mine. There are many of the bowlers who have bowled 900s that come to me and says, "Yours is the true 900. It was bowled with the old bowling balls, bowled on the old wooden lanes, and now it's much easier. There have been 25 of them bowled since mine." There was a petition out this past year to get the 900 sanctioned, signed by thousands of people and given to the United States Bowling Congress.
Late 2014, they said that they had revisited the issue and decided that it was just not something they were going to do, to go back and change what effectively were the rules then, because the rules are different now, and recognize that score.
They say it would be opening up a can of worms for all of the 300s that were turned down in the past. If they happen to approve mine, then they'd have to approve all the rest of them in the past that were turned down, or go through a bunch of lawsuits.
I have some respect for USBC's position, because you can make an argument that, well, those were the rules then and we don't want to do this. And yeah, okay, I can. That's a defensible position, even though I disagree with it. It's not Pete Rose. Glenn didn't do anything wrong. He didn't oil the lanes. He bowled. He threw 36 strikes. Amazing achievement.
But rules are rules. Why bend it just for?
Well, I'm not saying that you wipe away those rules. I'm saying put Glenn's score in the record book with an asterisk, and you say, not approved under the rules of the day. However, the rules of today, it would have been approved under, because the rules of today are basically anything goes when it comes to league lane conditions.
Bowling gives you all the benefits of consistent, healthful exercise without strain, so you can enjoy it all the years of your life.
I think he's probably gotten more attention as a result of it not being sanctioned than if it had been sanctioned. So that being said, I think he's getting the recognition that he deserves.
Mojave 300 Bowl decided that I should have a 900 ring, and I now have that ring on my finger. I'm very proud of it.
It's hard to describe how amazing it's been to see this story retain traction for 34 years now. And it fascinates me how much interest this still draws and how much support Glenn still has after all these years. People haven't stopped caring. And I think that more than anything, that may say what you really want to say about how big an achievement it is, that people still care. Every day I'm astounded.
I had already given up all hope. I don't believe it'll ever be sanctioned. I would be satisfied if it were to be put in the record books with an asterisk. I think it deserves that. Other than that, I'm happy.